Hello, my name is Tim Miller, and I am the owner and blacksmith here at Spirit Ironworks. Today, we're here to talk about the Henry Street restoration that we completed last year. Here in front of me, I have a piece of the cap molding from the stoop railings at Henry Street. And we had to recreate this as part of our restoration. You can see the original here is laminated out of two pieces of iron riveted together. And over the years, moisture got between the two sections and forced them apart. You can see over here that they put in a screw to try to get it back together. You can see on the bottom the rivets used to hold it together and holes where the original balusters were mounted into the rail going down the stairs. And you can see the end here is badly rusted. This idea of laminating two things together was very popular in the 19th century into the 20th century. We decided to go back to perhaps an earlier way of doing it and forging it from a solid piece. So there would be no point at which moisture could be trapped between the two layers. The rust is actually larger than iron, so it builds up and pushes things apart. So that's something that you want to avoid. Or if you are doing a restoration, you need to get in there and clean everything out, get everything flat, and fill in the voids and put it back together. Caulk it or put in some sort of primer. But our choice was to make new. So we decided to do the project with genuine wrought iron wherever we were replacing original components. Genuine wrought iron is a material that is different from today's steel, which is what is used for most ironwork today, is steel, not wrought iron. Wrought iron is a low carbon material composed of mainly iron, and it was worked heavily to get it into bar shapes. So the more it was worked, the more refined it became, better quality. It's not made anymore, so today we're limited by finding material from older structures, getting it as scrap. When a building is renovated, sometimes there's material that's left over. This is a very typical piece that you find. This is a piece of 1 inch round, and it's a reinforcing bar. I think this particular piece might have come out of an old dock. It's what's available. It also can be purchased as reprocessed material from Great Britain. I have not done that, but I suspect one day that will come into play. Okay, so this is the size material that was used to make this cap molding. And here we have the die that was used to form it. Okay, and this die was made by actually making a piece of material of this shape and forcing it into a block of steel red hot. Die making is a sub-skill of the blacksmithing trade. A lot of the older work involved the use of dies so a shape could be replicated with accuracy and speed instead of hammering it out by hand. So that's why some of the older work looks it can be very sophisticated looking and very clean looking, actually more sophisticated than a lot of today's ironwork. Okay, I'm standing next to one of our power hammers. This particular hammer is a 60 kilogram air hammer, and it's powered by an internal electric motor that powers an air piston that drives the ram up and down. The ram drives these dies. These dies are used to hammer metal with a great deal of more power and speed that could be accomplished by hand. So this is one of the modern machines that allows us to work more effectively. I'm going to be using this die that I described earlier, inserted into the hammer to shape the so I just drive this wedge in here and it locks the die in place. This is a system we devised here in our shop. There are other ways of doing it, but this is the way that we do it. So in front of you is a blacksmith's cold forge. I get a lot of questions about how this works and what the principle is behind it. So this is where we heat up our material. We have a bed of coals that's over a cast iron fire pot. If you pan over there, you can see there's a second forge, not complete, but it has a cast iron fire pot in it. So the fire is contained in that pot. And there is a fan blower underneath that forces air through the bottom of the fire that stokes the fire. So if I turn on my blower here, the fan turns on and I can control the strength of my fire by adjusting the air coming through. So what is done next is you take your piece of material that you want to heat and you put it into the fire and turn up the blast. And after a period of time, usually a minute or two, the material is hot enough. It takes a great deal of skill to learn how to control a coal fire with accuracy without burning your material or getting cold. Okay, so you can see here we have the freshly forged cap molding profile. I've cleaned it up with a wire brush to remove the scale, and you can see the shape. And if we walk over here and put it up against the original, you can see that it's very similar. For taking the time to watch our video of the Henry Street Ironwork restoration, forging a cap molding from genuine wrought iron. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos.